It's Winged Nation on MRN.com. A full hour, an entire hour, 60 minutes of dirt. You'll get dirt in your beer.
Beer.
An earful of, well, dirt. Let's get dirty now. Here are Steve Post and Ashley Stremme.
Hello again. It is MRN Wing Nation presented by Hercules Tires. A full hour of dirt.
60 minutes. What's that break down into seconds?
And I heard Bart Simpson or Homer Simpson or someone in there talking as well. We are glad you joined us. Our favorite time of the week. It is Wing Nation. So glad you're along for the ride. Ashley Stremme and Steve Post here. We're going to talk Pennsylvania posse and fair food. Yes, heavy on the fair food. We might talk a little sprint car racing. We got Brent Marks coming on. We've got Aaron Reutzel, the reigning Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour champ. He's getting ready for a big one at Jackson. And this one's really cool, too. The Race Saver IMCA sprints, the 305 sprints, they have their nationals. And John Carney II is the reigning champ of that, so we'll talk to him. It's the fourth time they've done this big race out in Eagle, Nebraska. So it is going to be great. Aaron Crocker or Aaron Evernham, or whatever we call it.
Whatever her name is.
I call it, it's so funny because when I see her in the NASCAR garage, it's like, hey, Evernham, come on. But when I talk sprint car racing, it's like, hey, Crocker.
Absolutely.
It's just weird. It just is. You know, the good news is she's cool with either of them. She is on special assignment. I don't even know what that means. She said she couldn't be here today. I didn't even think to ask her where she's going. But Ashley Stremme's alongside. So she's at the beach, Kreger just whispered in my ear.
That's
That's
twice.
it. Cancel the
That's
show.
Like twice
That's it.
in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
I need to be on her schedule. So,
Man.
Aaron, call me next time. Steve, you'll be doing the show by yourself.
Alone, yes, exactly. We'll go live via phone to the beach. We'll put you on the Hercules Tire hotline at the beach.
Hey, maybe we can talk an MRN into just doing the show at the beach.
There we go. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Boy, I'll tell you what, it's that would be fun. So we miss Aaron, but the good news is we got Ashley here, and we could not have a better week to have Ashley in the house because
That's
her
right.
home track, Port Royal Speedway, just not that it hasn't rung to life all year long, but I mean, it goes to notches
This week,
unknown to mankind.
right.
It gets crazy. It really does. And speaking of crazy, how about Kyle Larson?
Unbelievable. I still can't get over it. It's awesome to see a dirt guy make it in the asphalt world at that level in the Cup Series. Even at Aaron, the picture she tweeted out of her and Kyle.
Kyle, I know.
He was just
And
a little kid.
Aaron's so young, and then you're like, wait a minute, he is a kid. You know,
Absolutely.
the little picture of exactly, and of Aaron and Kyle. It was so much fun because I hang out and do the NASCAR thing, and so I'm on my Twitter over there, the Postman68. But this is like the week that I was bouncing back and forth to Wing Nation because I just think it's so cool, and Kyle means so much to us in the sprint car world, and it was a huge win for the sprint car world. So he parked it. And that was really,
Absolutely.
really cool. Speaking of parking it in Victory Lane, Jason Johnson, I think you hacked off Donnie Schatz. I'm just telling you, I think you've hacked off Donnie Schatz because this is 4 straight. Ever since he finished second, bless his heart, at the Knoxville Nationals, he just won every one of them.
Well, at that point, I think you're so beside yourself and upset with yourself.
Which is Donnie.
Absolutely.
Donnie. Second is failure.
He's there to do one thing,
Second
and that's
is failure
win.
for Donnie, which is why he's as good as he is.
Absolutely. I bet you he won't lose a race the rest of this year.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if we'll go that far, but I'm telling you what, he's going to be a whole handful every time they tee it up because I'm telling you what, it's just been, and I mean, it's in the dash, starting up front, just see ya.
Bye.
I mean, it's been Donnie Schatz. The other thing is, these are tracks that he's really good at, too.
Sure.
Now, we're headed to Skagit and out west, so we'll see what he does out there. But, I mean, he might be a little hacked
I
off.
would love to chat with him just to see what his thoughts.
Oh.
If this is one
wanna
he's
do it-
going to live with for the rest of
I'd
his
wanna
life,
do
like
it-
the one that got
I'd wanna
away.
do it via phone because he may
Yeah,
take your head off if
absolutely.
you ask him in
I
person.
agree.
I mean, that's Donnie,
That's
and
the
that's the
passion.
beauty of him. I mean, it's so cool. Okay, so now there's the fun stuff. Okay. Oh, speaking of fun stuff, also, Leah Blaney's 21st birthday today.
Is it? Oh,
Yes.
happy birthday,
So
Leah.
Dale's daughter is celebrating. She is of legal age now.
Everybody going to Dingus's.
Everyone's going to party with Leah. Not that, never mind. Leah, happy birthday. We'll just leave it at that. She is, Dale did good. Dale and I share single fatherhood. He's a single dad, and we love our girls. And Dale and I have talked about that. And Leah's got a good dad, and Dale's got a good daughter, and a happy 21st birthday.
Really
and,
cool.
21st birthday for Dad is probably one more day of realizing she's getting older and older.
That's right.
It's not fun. But happy birthday to Leah, and just I love Dale and Leah's relationship, father-daughter
Absolutely.
relationship.
It is really cool, the
really,
relationship
really
they do have.
It is great. It really is. And so happy birthday to Leah. Saturday night. Okay, Saturday night I'm going to Butler Motor Speedway.
Okay.
I did. No, I did go to
you
Butler.
went this
Yes,
past week. Sorry.
this past week. I went there. Yeah, I know. I misspoke there, okay?
No worries. Listen, they all run together anymore.
You know, Butler's had a little bit of trouble along the way. Remember the All-Stars earlier this year? It was about midnight when the green flag went on the feature, and they got one lap into the feature, and the dust was so bad they threw the red flag and reworked the racetrack, okay? So the Fast Series was there. Rich Farmer took his tour from Fremont, Attica, and they've ran a few other tracks this year up there. And I knew that, we knew we had these afternoon storms come through Michigan. They delayed the Truck Series race and actually delayed us. I didn't know that I was going to make it to Butler or not, but I figured, well, you know what, I'll go over there. And I know Butler has a long-standing history of running very, very late. Okay, so I figured, I'll get there. I'll get to see something. I'm not going to probably stay. I put myself on a curfew because I had the Cup race the next day.
Sure.
7:30 start time. Rolled in at 7:45, and there's mud however deep on the racetrack. It's bad. It's real bad. I stay out of the mess. I try to stay out of this.
Absolutely.
And so I did a periscope machine around the pit area, and then I ended up talking to Byron Reed. I love Dean Jacobs, talked to Kendra's Uncle Dean, and so I'm talking there along the way, and I hear him announce there's a driver's meeting, which is kind of interesting that there's a driver's meeting a half hour after it was supposed to start. And then I'm talking to Craig Mintz, and another one of the great racers from Ohio, and one of his crew guys, someone comes up and says they've canceled. Now, it's bright sunshine, great crowd in the stands, but the track is just brutal, just absolute mess. And this is one of those where nobody wins on this deal. And it just really, really stunk. And it went a little worse because Rich Farmer with Fast Series met with his drivers. He had his 305s and 410s up there. And then there was the Great Lakes Super Sprints, which was a 360 tour. So it was a sprint car palooza show. And Rich Farmer met with his drivers, and his drivers pretty much indicated they weren't going to race. They didn't want to race because it was going to still be hours before the track was ready, and the track was very, very soft. So they indicated they didn't want to race. So basically, we thought the event was canceled, and then the track gets on the PA system in the pits and say, well, the sanctioning body has canceled. We've not canceled. You're free to stay and race. And so we get into this awkward tug of war. Who's going on? Where's my pit money? We get into all of this. It's just no fun. It's no fun at all. It's a no-win situation. Ultimately, a half hour later, the track determined that they weren't going to be able to race. I will say this. They did a wonderful job with the fans. I didn't want to be in the line, but they told the fans, line up at the ticket window and you can get your money back. Which I don't often hear that with tracks. Or you can use your wristband at a future race. And they were lined up all the way out through, so I hated that, but the track, I think, managed that well. Right. And I don't know what happened as far as fast goes and everything else. But I want to take this. It was not what you were looking for.
Sure.
I mean, you're Rich Farmer with a Fast Series, not what you're looking for. And I had a chance to talk with Rich. But I love what he's doing up there. I love that he's trying things. Because the same week that he had this mess, and it was a mess, up at Butler, Rich Farmer had something, and you're going to love it specifically. Okay? On Tuesday night of last week, a week ago tonight, it was the opening night of the 164th annual Sandusky County Fair. Okay? You love fairs, you love racing, okay? And I for the first time since 1976, Rich convinced him to have a sprint car program at the fair.
Oh, how cool.
Okay? So what they did Tuesday night was the 305s, and this was a challenge because they had to pit the cars somewhere else and wheel everything into the infield. And, the 410 teams are used to just throwing everything on the mule and going.
Absolutely.
The 305 teams, it's a challenge for them. But they all did it. The teams did it. Rich Farmer did it. The Fast Series did it. And it was the largest crowd in the 164-year history opening day of the Sandusky County Fair. Now,
goosebumps.
I know. Isn't that's just
so
fantastic.
Cool. It's amazing when you can be rewarded for, putting yourself out on the line and taking a risk.
And Rich did. He took a risk by doing this fair race and convincing his 305 guys. The 305 guys loved it. In fact, some of the 410 guys got rides in 305 cars, and everyone loved it. So a tip of the cap to all the drivers, everyone there, and to Rich Farmer. And I don't care. I know you have good days. You have bad days like you had at Butler. But you had a great day at the fair because now all of a sudden, what do you do with this? Okay,
right.
A lot of talking to some people there. Maybe it's not going to be suited for 410s. We understand this, but does this become your marquee 305 event where they get to race in front of this big crowd at the fair? It is great. So, Rich Farmer, a tip of the cap to you for taking the chances, getting out there and trying things. Sometimes they don't work out the way you hope, and sometimes they're a Grand Slam home run, and I'll take the Grand Slam home run. The other thing is, from the sprint car perspective, is you are introducing sprint car racing fans to a new people.
That's right.
Is what you're doing with that event at the fair. So that's what's going on in the world of fast. Yeah, it is. It's really, really cool. And that's Tuesday to Saturday. That's what happened in the life of Rich Farmer, Tuesday to Saturday, hero to where's my pit money? That's what it boiled down to. Really, really cool. But I chatted with Rich. He's a great guy. Love talking with him and love his passion for the sport. Really, really cool. All right, let's check real quick here because our first guest is already waiting for us to get started. Well,
we're going to talk more about fairs.
Well, I know he's a fast driver because he wins all the time. That's why he's waiting, okay? Classic Ink screen printing and embroidery results page. Donnie Schatz won at River Cities in Noda. Knoxville Raceway, it was Danny Lasowski, 111th career win there. Won his 11th championship.
Unbelievable.
I know. Arctic All-Star Circuit of Champions. It was Danny Holtgraver, Sheldon Hodenshield, and with 8 races left, the Arctic All-Stars have a tremendous point battle. Chad Kemenaugh, Dale Blaney, and Sheldon Hodenshield.
I like to see Sheldon's name in there. That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
That's
it really
exciting
is.
for
You're
me.
right about that. No doubt. IRA bumper-to-bumper sprints. Billy Baylog and Steve Mayer won. King of the West at Petaluma with Shane Golobeck. Lernerville, Brandon Spithaller. Bud Kading won at Silver Dollar. Aaron Ott won at Williams Grove. How about that for Aaron Ott?
Absolutely.
Yeah, great guy. Mark Dobmeyer won at Badlands. There's a shocker. Breaking news. Dobmeyer wins.
Again.
Yeah, exactly, for the 237th time this year. Jim Siegel for the first time picked up the win. Jack Soderman Jr. clinched track championship at Mercer. Joey Montgomery won St. Francis. Wayne County, it was Jordan Ryan winning. And at Port Royal and at Path Valley, it was Brent Marks putting it in victory lane at maybe the biggest track and maybe the smallest track in Pennsylvania. He scored the wins. That's your Classic Ink pole position, screen printing and embroidery pole position. Classic Ink. You can great T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, towels, hats, and more. Corporate, other sports, school events, special events. I know why drivers like Brian Brown, Donnie Schatz, Danny Dietrich, Danny Lasowski, Brady Bacon, and more, they choose Classic Ink. You should too. ClassicInkUSA.com. We do need to step away because that guy that just spends all of his time in victory lane, and we're going to a place where he spent a lot of time last year there, Brent Marks. He joins us next.
Hi, I'm Dale Blaney, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Classic Ink USA Screen Printing and Embroidery is constantly testing the limits of custom racewear and specialized embroidery. Headquartered in Western Pennsylvania, Classic Ink holds the highest standard, maximizing your return as well as the ultimate customer satisfaction. From track swag fan wear to quick crew wear, Classic Ink has you covered. Their dedicated staff and designers will keep your race team and fans looking sharp. Contact Classic Ink today and get your team ahead of the competition. www.classicinkusa.com. That's Classic Ink, at the track and on your back.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
This weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, prepare yourself for the 38th Annual AGCO Jackson Nationals. Live at the all-new Jackson Motorplex. See the stars of the Lucas Oil ASCS 360 Sprint Car Series, the National Sprint League Outlaw Sprint Cars, and the HRA Non-Wing Sprint Cars. Watch the world's best sprint car drivers compete for over $150,000 in prize money. 3-day combo pass, just $75. Get more info at JacksonMotorplex.com. The AGCO Jackson Nationals this weekend at the all-new Jackson Motorplex in Jackson, Minnesota. Be there.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gordon, and now back to Wing Nation.
Thank you, Jeff. We are having a great time. It is the fair food segment of our program, which really, when Ashley and I get together, I think that's all segments
That's all we
of the
talk
show.
about, food and racing.
Yes, but the guy that always walks out of there, you know how you play those games and you win money or you win stuff? This guy walks out after the fair with all the money. Last year he did. Joining us on the line, Brent Marks joins us. Hello, Brent. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, cool. Well, Brent, first off, before we start talking about the fair and all the fun stuff there at Port Royal, let's talk about this past week at Port Royal, and then you followed it up at Path Valley and actually a third-place run at Williams Grove. Great weekend, and I would dare say you got to feel pretty good about your momentum going into a busy week that you have coming up.
Yeah, it was definitely a great weekend. We worked really hard to put that weekend together, and we sat down during the week and discussed some things that needed to be brought up, and kind of cleared our heads a little bit and went out and ran really good all weekend. So I'm really proud of what we did, and it was pretty amazing to win at Port and Path Valley and help us build our bank account a little bit.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Well, you talk about having to clear your head last week. Is that something you have to do again this week, or is it set straight and you're ready to roll for these next, it's 4 days? For racing, yeah, absolutely.
At Port.
And then
Williams Grove is in there too.
Yeah, exactly. So there's 6 nights of racing, right?
I think so. So are you ready for it?
Bless, goodness gracious.
Don't get us started on math.
I'm ready to go for all that. I'm pretty happy this week, so I don't think I have to clear my head at all. But I'm ready to go for all the racing that's coming up. Fair week at Port's one of my most favorite weeks of the year, and it's really fun and a lot of racing going on, and get to race against some really high caliber drivers, and it's just really hard, strong racing, and it's a ton of fun.
Very, very good. Brent, I kind of mentioned this as we were going through our results page that you won at Port, which is maybe the biggest track in the area, and Path Valley, which is the smallest track. Does that speak volumes as to your program and how comfortable you are beyond the big half miles, how comfortable you've got your program with all the racing you've done this year?
Yeah, it just goes to show that we can win, anywhere and on any type of racetrack. It's just it's pretty cool, and it just shows us that we're doing something right, and it makes me feel good about myself knowing that I can race on different types of racetracks, and it's just pretty cool, because it just shows to show how much we learn racing outside of Pennsylvania, because I do run on a lot of short tracks, especially getting into Ohio, and a lot of things we learned racing in Ohio we applied there for Path Valley on Sunday, and it really prevailed. So it's really cool to see the things that we learn, and then when we apply them to see what it actually does. So it makes ourselves feel really good, and and to win those races this weekend is something that we really needed really bad, and I'm just super happy that we were able to do that.
Now, I'm sure with your traveling that you've done, it builds your confidence going into different tracks and knowing and learning different places that you're going to. But I know that you always say that Port's your favorite, which I know a lot of guys think you're probably really crazy for saying that. Why do you enjoy Port Royal so much?
Well, I used to hate it. It used to be the worst track I felt, but they had new management take over, and they started doing different things at the racetrack, and made it really racy, and I just love it. It races so well, and when they get the track down to about 19, 20 seconds, you can just move all over the place. You can run the middle, the top, the bottom. You're 4 or 5 car lengths back. You can slide guys. It's just really fun, and I've been doing this for 7 years now, and I'm kind of over the whole speed thing. When I first started, all I wanted to do was go fast, because that was really cool. Got to feel the speed of a 410 sprint car. But now I'm so used to the speed, I want to be able to maneuver around the racetrack and have fun doing it, and run half throttle, 3/4 throttle. Work the brake pedal, and have that throttle control, and that Port Royal provides that, and it's just so much fun. It's like on Saturday there, turn 3 and 4, it was literally up on the fence, and you don't get that much on a half-mile track, having a little tiny cushion up on the fence like that, and then being able to weave in and out of lap traffic. It was really fun, and I just really enjoy myself when we go there. And it's not just because we run good there; it's because the way that they prepare the track is just really really fun. And you can see that because they're bringing more people into the stands and people are more excited about it. And it's just really cool what they've done there. And and I have been calling them the premier track in Pennsylvania right now, and I really do believe that.
Steve O'Neill has done amazing things. He really has there, and it's been so much fun watching that track come from maybe an era when it was struggling to what it's grown into, and it just has been absolutely amazing watching what he's done there and what he's putting together there. Now, one of the things I always find interesting is this weekend, of course, you have Saturday night, which is a Saturday night race, which is what you do all the time. What I find interesting is on Monday afternoon you have the fair race, and traditionally we roll our eyes with afternoon shows, and we may end up rolling our eyes because weather is so tough to do. But ironically, last year, the afternoon show, the track was able to be spectacular. But what are the challenges of running in the afternoon, with the varying track conditions that you can run into?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, running afternoon shows is not to get the track to rubber up. And Port Royal has done a really good job at being able to do that the last few years. I think last year it only rubbered up like the last 3-4 laps or something like that. But it didn't lock down rubber. It was just enough to make the bottom lane equal with the top. So they've been doing a really good job at preparing the racetrack so that way we don't start out the race, locked down around the bottom single file. I don't know what they do to it, but they just work really smart, and provide us something that we can race with. And, the first half of the race, you see guys all over the racetrack, they're top, bottom, middle, everywhere. They're just all over the place moving around and it's really, really cool. And, I always hope for a semi-cloudy day for day races, just so that way the sun's not beating on the track too hard and, have all that heat. But, that's what I hope for. The track seems to last a little bit longer when we have a cloudy day, but we'll see. We'll see how this year goes. But the last couple of years, they've been doing a really good job, and I don't see anything changing this year.
It's funny to hear you talk, Brent, because, I include you in that young gun category. You're still a young guy, but to hear you talk about how you like a dry, slick track, because that brings the finesse out. Anybody can drive on a heavy down hammer track, but you talking about being finesse and driving on that dry, slick track. I saw your post on Facebook, the most recent one about, the different types of tracks. What stemmed all of that?
I get online and read sometimes and, just see, people bash racetracks and say that, they want rough, fast tracks that people can hold it flat out. I just get drug into that debate all the time. I just don't see where the fun is in that sometimes, I think there's a time and place for everything. I think, if you're on a little quarter-mile bull ring out in California and the track's kind of wet and heavy and rough, those guys can move around there, but when we're around home here with majority of our tracks being half miles, we need it to be slicked off and with some moisture, up top and on the bottom, so that way we have equal lines and stuff. But you see, when it gets like that, you see guys moving all around, and it's really cool. And, you don't necessarily need to have, guys starting 12th and coming up to win races to have a good race. You can have a good quality race, having somebody win off the front row. It's cool to watch, a guy come on the front row, weave in and out of lap traffic and pass a bunch of cars and make mistakes here or there and watch second close up on them and then watch second place make a mistake and watch the leader pull away. It's really fun. It's cool. I like watching races like that. And I necessarily don't like watching, really fast, tracks where you just hold it flat out and, just let it eat. I just don't see the enjoyment in that as a fan. But some people do like that. So it's just a different breed of person, everybody likes their own things, but, I was just expressing what I liked and wanted to hear what other people said. And I think a majority of, fans agreed with what I had to say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, speaking of let it eat. All right. Now the most important
now the important
stuff.
part of the conversation.
Now the important stuff. And I was, last year, if I remember, at one point during the weekend, I was cussing you out because, you guys were at the Lutheran church stand doing your family or your team meal, but how do you resist, or do you not even try to resist all of the great fair food at Port Royal the next couple of weeks?
No, we don't try to resist it. No, we'll eat it. It's really good up there. We have a good time, and we actually stay the weekend, even though it's only an hour away from our shop. We'll just leave the truck and trailer there, and we'll stay the weekend and have a good time. And everybody loves it. Every time I talk to somebody about Fair Week, they just say how much they love it. It's just really cool. atmosphere that they have, and brings everybody together. And having the fair there makes it that much more fun. And I have a little girl now, so it's going to make the fair that much more fun for me and my family. So it's pretty cool.
That is really, really cool. Brent, I don't know if you know this or not, but if you want to lay this trivia on people, Ashley won the apple pie contest one year at the Juniata County Fair.
Nice.
Yeah, she won the apple pie contest. Lay that out there. You want to impress people, lay that out there on them. Exactly.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yes, indeed. Brent, I'll tell you, it's been so much fun to watch you over the course of the last few years, and really over the course of this past weekend, it was fun to watch as well.
I'm excited for this next week.
I know, and the next week and a half is going to be really, really good. Thanks for the time, continued success, and we'll talk to you down the road.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
That is Brent Marks joining us here on the show, and he has got to be locked in. Last year, this was the week that he just got on fire and won, I think, 3 races along the way.
Yeah, it was extra. I was there. I watched it. It was insane to win Labor Day and then win the night before the 50 and then win the 50.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. It's not.
The irony last year was that was his first 3 wins of the year.
Mm-hmm.
He's won other races this year, so he's a little bit better stocked in. And that's for
But I think he's only won 4 races this year, and the 2 were in the past weekend.
Right, exactly.
So
A couple of, but this guy's not scared to get off the porch. He's not scared to go out and race, and it pays off when he comes back on the porch because he is wheeling that race car up in Posse Land. So great stuff. Great to chat with Brent Marks joining us on the Hercules Tire Hotline. We need to step away. When we come back, Aaron Reutzel, he joins us next.
Hi, I'm Craig Kinsler, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Gordon. Did you know that 43 children are diagnosed with cancer each and every day? That more children die from cancer than any other disease? Athletes of all ages are dedicating their stats to change these stats, and you can too. Visit JeffGordonChildren'sFoundation.org to become a Kick It champion. No matter what sport, you can use your points, laps, or goals to change the odds for kids with cancer. Make your stats really count. Become a Kick It champion.
O'Reilly. Has the summer heat taken a toll on your vehicle's battery? Count on O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Superstart battery that's right for your vehicle. For a limited time, purchase a Superstart Premium, Extreme, or Platinum battery and get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card by mail. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Letarte for STP. As a former crew chief, I know about winning and what it takes to keep your engine performing at its best. That's why I recommend STP Ultra 5-in-1 Fuel System Cleaner. STP Ultra 5-in-1 Fuel System Cleaner is STP's most advanced fuel additive. It's been formulated to help remove harmful deposits from intake valves and restore fuel injector performance. For more than 60 years, STP products have proven themselves mile after mile. Take it from me, if you want to go with the winner, go with STP. In for the long haul.
Time now for a look at a great American dirt track presented by another great American dirt track, the Speed Palace, Port Royal Speedway.
I'm Ashley Stremme. It opened in 1951, a dog track in Phoenix, Arizona that was converted to a quarter-mile dirt oval. In 1954, a half-mile track was added. Manzanita Speedway became one of the top dirt tracks in the nation. Manzi was instrumental in the early careers of Al Unser Jr., J.J. Yaley, and Billy Boat. Racers such as Mario Andretti, Gary Bettenhausen, and A.J. Foyt raced there and won. Keith Hall purchased the track in 1965. In 1968, he founded the Western States Championship, offering a $10,000 purse. This race became a part of the Triple Crown of sprint car racing. Over the years, the track hosted the World of Outlaws, ASCS, and USAC. Each year, the track held 75 to 80 nights of racing that included the Copper World on dirt. Due to low attendance and constant complaints from companies and homeowners about noise and dust, Manzanita was closed in 2009 and sold to a rigging company that uses the property as a storage facility. Manzanita Speedway, a great American dirt track brought to you by another great American dirt track, the Speed Palace, Port Royal Speedway.
And there you have it, this week's Manzanita Speedway, as we look at one of the great racetracks. I've been to a couple of races at Manzanita, and
really?
It was spectacular. Every time, my 2 favorite memories there, J.J. Yaley bringing in, and all the races I think I hit there were non-wing. I don't think I hit a wing show there, a non-wing car. J.J. Yaley, one time I saw him on a qualifying lap on that wet, sticky racetrack. He hit the center of turn number 3 and 4, and he got that right rear on the cushion. And with the exception of the left rear just occasionally touching down, he ran that qualifying lap on one tire all the way. The front wheels were right off the ground because he hooked the cushion and was able to make the turn. And he came down that front straightaway on the gas, and he had that car jacked up on one wheel. The left one would just touch down occasionally, and he ran that qualifying lap. And I'm just like, I'm not a fan of single-car qualifying, but if they did it like that, I would be. And then I saw Kevin Swindell in the USAC race there put on a show just one time. It might have been one of the last races at the track, just was phenomenal. Hate what happened to Manzanita. Every time we go to Phoenix, I fly over and think about it or drive by and think about it, and it was just really something. I know we've got Aaron Reutzel on the line, but what they used to say about Manzanita is that you always put a $10 bill in one pocket and a sandwich in the other pocket when you go out to race there, okay? If you go flying out of turn number 1, the $10 bill is used so you can buy a 6-pack of beer to bring it into the crew that has to fix the race car, okay? If you fly out of turn number 3, you go into a junkyard and you need something to throw at the junkyard dogs so that they can give you a few moments to run back and jump back over the fence. So another one of the Manzanita is such a cool place.
Really
Tragically, 2009 was our last, we lost Manzanita. So that's what the Great American Dirt Track is like, and we appreciate Port Royal Speedway sharing those memories of Great American Dirt Tracks. All right, so now we need to jump back to the guest line. Joining us here on the program is the reigning Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour champ, Aaron Reutzel's on the line. Hello, Aaron. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Well, Aaron, first off, I just want to look at Sunday night. Congratulations on a win. I know we talked at Knoxville. It's certainly not been the year you'd hoped for, but had to be a good feeling on Sunday night to get the win up at Badlands and maybe kick some energy off and kick some momentum off into the Jackson Nationals.
Yeah, it did feel good. That track, I don't know what it's been about that track, but I hadn't been able to get a win there. I've been pretty close a few times. Me and Kading put on a good show there, and Kading got me on the last lap. And then Saturday there, me and Mark Dobmeyer put on a hell of a show, and Mark got me with just a few laps to go. So I've been the bridesmaid there a few times, so it's finally good to get the win.
Aaron, you posted on Twitter that you finally got the black car out, and that's where your luck came from. So I just want to know, is the black car going to be run the rest of the season, or are you going to switch back to the white car?
It'll probably make an appearance here and there. We had all our maintenance done by 2:00, and my new crew guy was up there looking at the wing, and he's like, "Hey, let's pull up the black car, see if that'll change our luck." So he's like, "All right." We had nothing else to do, so we just it's the same car, just changed all the body over. So ran it, and sure as shit it worked.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's good. Hey, whatever it takes.
That's why I'm saying that you should probably stick with the black one for the rest of the season.
Whatever it takes,
That's
right?
Well, I thought about it, but the problem is it was a Knoxville car, so it's all ultra light carbon. So like even that one race, we had a couple rocks go through the hood, and even the wings, the lightweight wings. So it's not something you want to keep on all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of work involved in that one.
It's
expensive as well. Expensive as well. Now, what we have coming up here as the Jackson Nationals, the AGCO Jackson Nationals coming up at Jackson Speedway. Of course, Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, $10,000 to win on Sunday night. National Sprint League 410s. Aaron, are you one of the guys pulling double duty, or are you going to just focus on the 360s?
Oh, no, I'll definitely be doing double duty. There's way too much money on the line.
I knew the answer to that. I was pretty sure. I'd have been shocked had you given me the other answer. First and foremost, how are those races when you're doing double duty, running back and forth between the cars? How much of a challenge is that?
It's doing double duty, wing and non-wing was kind of tough, but doing it 410 and 360, not at all. Once you run that one lap, you already know what car you're in.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, it's ultimately just a smaller motor. That's really the only difference, I'm assuming, between the 360 and the 410, correct?
Yeah, you got a little bit of a wing speed difference, and obviously the car setup's a little bit different, but you run that one lap, you already remember what car you're in. You already kind of know the differences on how you got to drive it, whatnot. But going from wing to non-wing, that's a little bit different, because non-wing you got back your corners up so much more. So you'll go out there in a wing 410 and charge the corners, and then you get in a non-wing, and first corner you try to charge it, and it's not a good idea.
Aaron, I noticed with your schedule this year, and of course you're chasing the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, but on off weekends you seem to have spent a lot of time, and maybe it's just where you're at, up in there in the Badlands area, Jackson, of course. It just looks like we're seeing a lot of, those two tracks in particular, it looks like there's just a lot of progress in the racing up there and giving you guys a lot of nights to race staying up in that general neck of the woods.
Yeah, they really have, and if my operation's here, I definitely make the trip over to Badlands just because they give you tow money and they pay down really well. And then whenever I've been off and not in the area, the Shane Liebick owned car, the 55 car, they're just 4 hours down the road in Rapid City, so they like to come down here. They took us over to Jackson this year for that $20,000 win, and we came down here for that Silver Shootout and Outlaw shows. So it's definitely a good place to be based out of right now, just between going to Jackson and going to Badlands and Knoxville and then catching the Outlaws when they run through here. So it's like you see a guy like Kading, he's sitting over here making the best of it right now.
For sure.
And to add to that, with where you're at, you're able to race January through November. You have 100 and some shows on your schedule this year, which is insane. And to be able to travel to all those places, ultimately your off season relates to 1 month.
Yeah, it does. And, this year it'll probably be 2 months now that Yuma won't be back, which is pretty disappointing. Yeah. But, yeah, hopefully, we're trying to get a ride over in Australia, so hopefully we'll be able to do that. If not, we'll just take a few extra months of working on our race operation.
Isn't it amazing? It really is.
You're off season.
Yeah, you're off season, and now you're not. You're not alone. Everyone is looking for rides or has a ride already locked down in Australia, and I think that's what's so great about it. And I'm with you. I echo. I hate that the winter heat thing is apparently not coming back because that was a really, really cool deal with a lot of money. But time marches on, I guess, and we'll just all see what happens. Well, we are going to be following along with the Jackson Nationals all weekend long up at Jackson Motorplex. We'll follow along and see how you do, Aaron. Thanks for your time, and we certainly wish you the best this weekend and on throughout the balance of the year.
Hey, thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
There we go. That is Aaron Reutzel joining us. Man, what a superstar he is. I'm telling you what. Breakout year last year. He won one of the races down at Yuma and then won the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. As happens in our sport, times change, and we talked to Aaron about this in one of our Knoxville shows, how rough things have been this year, challenging, but he keeps slugging it out. And, there is when you have talent like Aaron has, you just got to race through it.
Absolutely. Every driver goes through it.
Exactly.
Every single one.
Exactly.
It's just how you handle it is ultimately.
Curl up in a ball and decide not to go race. You're never going to come out of it. You just keep digging and digging and digging, and maybe that win Sunday night at Badlands. He said he's had a couple second-place runs, maybe starting to get some momentum. And, I wouldn't be shocked on Sunday night, either the NSL $25,000 to win or the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour $10,000 to win. Not a shocker if he could win one of them. And sweeping, it's a challenge, but if you could pick one guy to sweep him, he would be one of the leading candidates. So, and then all of a sudden we're talking about, wow, what a great year you had. What a great year.
It's so true.
It is so amazing. What have you done for me lately is what it boils down to. It really is. So, hey, we need to step away, but I want to remind you it's STP Race Week at Darlington. I know, folks, we don't talk much NASCAR stuff on here, and I know a lot of you don't like us talking NASCAR stuff, but this is Darlington. This is Throwback.
That's right.
There's some
It's
cool things going on. There really is. Wing Nation is brought to you in part by STP, Ultra Clean, Ultra Performance, Ultra Protection, STP Ultra 5-in-1 Fuel System Cleaner, their most advanced formula. STP, in for the long haul. We'll be back. We are going to talk something really, really cool. The IMCA Race Saver Nationals is this week in Eagle, Nebraska. John Carney II, he is the defending champ, and we will talk to him next.
Hey, this is Jason Sides, and you're listening to Steve and Kendra on Wing Nation here on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
The 25th year of the Lucas Oil American Sprint Car Series is about to begin.
Expanded national and regional tours, over 150 events across the United States, and some of sprint car racing's biggest names and rising stars.
The 25th anniversary of the Lucas Oil ASCS is one you don't want to miss. Find out when the American Sprint Car Series is near you in 2016 at ASCSRacing.com. Find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter,
and catch all the action away from the track live at RacingBoys.com.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
Honoring sprint car racing's greatest achievers.
25 historic sprint cars on display. A movie theater featuring sprint car racing film. And a breathtaking view of historic Knoxville Raceway. Go to sprintcarstuff.com for the largest sprint car gift shop on the planet. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
O'Reilly.
Has the summer heat taken a toll on your vehicle's battery? Count on O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Superstart battery that's right for your vehicle. For a limited time, purchase a Superstart Premium, Extreme, or Platinum battery and get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card by mail. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is Tony Stewart. You're listening to Winged Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Thank you, Tony. We appreciate it. Welcome back. We are having a great time, and we are glad you joined us here. You know, we spend so much of our energy talking 410 sprint car racing, and we understand. We understand that's the big boys, and we do spend a fair amount of time, like we just did with Aaron Reutzel, talking 360s. But, you know, there's so much excitement going on in the sprint car world around the 305 sprints, and it's really been something that everyone's trying to get their arms around as we try to find this entry-level division so that guys can afford to get into sprint cars. We hope that, you know, everyone becomes a, 410 driver along the way, but to invest $60,000, $80,000 right off the bat in your car, and we're this way with a smaller engine and smaller parts and pieces, you can get started at a better price tag than that. And for years and years, there's been this Race Saver program going on. French Grimes is the guy that started it. He was up in Virginia. He has now sold, partnered, or done something with IMCA, which is a long-time great sanctioning body, and they have put together the Race Saver IMCA Sprint Nationals, and this is in Eagle, Nebraska this week. This is the 4th annual run for the 305s, and joining us on the line is the defending race winner of this, picked up the victory last year. John Carney II is on the line. Hello, John. Welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. How are you guys?
We are fantastic. How are you? And let's look back just a little bit. And I know you run some 360s and the 305s. As you go into this big weekend, how has your season been up to date so far?
It's been a great season. It's been a little hit and miss. It seems like we're either at the front knocking down some wins, or we've had some DNFs and some unusual circumstances. But, you know, in racing, it's just a matter of how you take the blows and keep going. And so it's been a good year.
Well, John, I don't know much about you. I'm learning about you. And I was scrolling through your Facebook and your Twitter, and I noticed you race all kinds of cars. You're in the 74B, you're in the 11X, you're in the 224. I mean, you're racing cars for all different people.
It's a bit of a roller coaster trying to race full time with basically some part-time teams, but we all manage to kind of work and pick and choose which races each team kind of wants to go to, and we kind of put this deal together. And it's challenging to say the least because each car is a little different. So I've got a stack of notes that I keep with me, and I just I get the good thing is on each car I pretty much kind of get to set it up. So I've got a certain feel that I like, and I can take whatever kind of chassis it is and get it dialed in pretty quick.
So let me get this right. So you're a full-time racer. Do you have other work that you do, or you're able to carve out full-time race with your teams that you're involved in?
I just race full time.
That's awesome.
That's
God,
really cool.
I love hearing that. I absolutely love hearing that. I really do, because I would just make an assumption that that's not possible to do, and I'm sure you're not living the life of Donnie Schatz, if you will, but but it's great to hear you doing that. Okay, so what do we as fans that are regular 410 fans, and maybe we'll sneak into a 360 show, but a lot of sprint car fans just absolutely thumb their noses at the 305s, okay? That's just the truth. You know that. John,
yes.
Yeah, you know that. What do we need to know about these 305s, and what makes this this series and what's going on with it? What makes it so viable, and what makes you guys going to have a bunch of cars this weekend there?
Well, it's the key ingredient right now in sprint car racing is there's not a whole lot of car owners anymore. The sport has turned to a lot of family-owned teams. So this gives a great outlet for a team that's coming from micros or cars or something like that. A place where they can test the waters and see if they really want to go and sprint car race. The avenue for 360 and 410 deal it's gotten really expensive, and So the 305 deal allows, an amateur or a working man to get a car and fulfill a dream of driving a sprint car, where as if there were only 360s and 410s, it would just be something that they get to go and watch at the racetrack. This is something that allows a wider range of people to get in and get to drive a sprint car.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because it has been the topic that, car owners are slowly falling by the wayside in the sprint car world, and you've got 3 of them. So that's amazing. But you pieced together a full-time deal with these guys. Is it all 305 stuff? Are you dabbling with the 360s and 410s? Is that a direction you want to grow and go with, or are you set in the 305s with those guys?
Well, each team has 305s and 360s.
Wow.
And so I get to do a little bit of both with all the teams. So it's great to go run 360 and 305 races. Just being basically in West Texas, the southwest part of the country, there's very few 410 races. So I would just imagine if, let's just say, for example, I was raised around Ohio, Pennsylvania, I might be a well-known 410 guy, but in my part of the country, I'm just well-known for what I do, and it's great, and I get to race for a living, and I mean, like what you said, I might not make what Donnie Schatz makes, but I get to drive a sprint car for a living, and that's
right.
The greatest thing I can think of.
By God, that is great. That is fantastic. This weekend, it is the Race Saver IMCA Sprint Nationals, Eagle, Nebraska. You're the reigning champ. What are you going to need to do? How does this work? What types of things are you going to be looking at as you roll in there? I think Thursday's test and tune, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night racing. How does this work for you, and what are you going to be looking for, and what are you going to need to do to go back-to-back on the wins?
Well, the great thing about how I race is I don't race for points. I don't even know what points are. I don't look at them. I don't count them. I don't care about them. So each weekend is a new weekend for me, and the goal is to go and win. Anytime we go to the racetrack, it's the same mindset. It's the same goal. And we don't go to any races that we don't think we can't win. And this weekend is no different than any other weekend. It's just another weekend. We're just glad to have the opportunity to go up there and run. And if we can put together a weekend like we did last year, it was phenomenal. We won every time we hit the track. So to go into Eagle, if the track's always been great there. I raced there at 360 in 2010 or 11, and it seems like the track's consistent. And the track promoter does a good job of keeping up with the racetrack and making it real racy for everyone. There's lots of passing going on all over the field.
I love it. I just absolutely love it.
I'm blown away.
Absolutely. John, where did you get your start in racing? I mean, you talk about, the 305s being prevalent where you're at in Texas. Is it just something that you jumped on and you decided to start racing, or has your family been involved for several years?
Oh, my family's been involved in El Paso, Texas, and southern New Mexico and stuff. My dad's been around racing his whole life. My grandfather owned and run a track for a while, and it's just one of those situations where I was raised around racing. Racing is not like Pennsylvania where there's racetracks all over the place, but we do have racetracks, and we like to race just as much as them boys do and girls. And so it's just I was raised around it, and when we started racing, 305s weren't even around. So I started in a 360 car.
Yeah.
And it kind of faded, and 305s came about, and we've done that, and 360s, and we even run some 410 stuff, but that series is gone now. But it's just one of those deals where, like I was saying earlier, if I was raised around Pennsylvania or Ohio, I might be more 360 or 410 prevalent, but it's not to say that we don't like to race.
Man.
Absolutely.
John, it's a great story, and this weekend is going to be great. It's in Eagle, Nebraska. It is the 4th annual running of the Nationals. We're going to be following along. We certainly wish you the best, and see if you can defend that. And thanks for joining us, and thanks for sharing your story on Wing Nation here. This was just a great 8 or 10 minutes that we've had a chance to spend with you. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Well, certainly. I urge anyone around Eagle to go check it out. There'll be over 100 sprint cars, and it's just as good a show as you can see anywhere in the country.
I'll guarantee you that. That's fantastic. Thanks, John.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Well, I think I have a new hero. I mean, seriously, when you look at this, I mean, here's a guy that Western Texas, and yeah, we're spoiled rotten in Central Pennsylvania, spoiled rotten in Ohio, spoiled rotten in a lot of areas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I want to go sprint car racing, so he puts a lot of miles on.
But he makes it happen.
But he's racing sprint cars for a living.
That's right.
How good is that? How cool is that? And I love what he says about points. I'm not a big points guy. I don't points race. I mean, I love it.
We're going to win.
We're going
and
to win
make
the race.
money.
Win and make money.
That's
and
right.
I love it. So I can't wait to see what happens with that. And I've got a new favorite over there. I love his story. I really do, because and that's what I think I find so fascinating about the sprint car world. So many ways guys carve out the way to be able to do this, whether it's staying in Pennsylvania or Ohio, whether it's going World of Outlaws or ASCS National Tour or National Sprint League, or doing the outlaw thing like a Kerry Madsen has done or Brownie has done, build his own empire, if you will. I just love it. And here's another guy that wasn't even on my radar screen. I mean, I've seen the name because I see him on the IB Racing win list. He wins all the time. Okay?
Yeah,
I
he
see
has
him on
like
the win
11
list.
or 12
yeah,
this year already.
Exactly. I see him on Brad's win list. But, man, and here's a guy doing it for a living and just doing it different than the guys we normally talk about.
Like he said, he's got to do it his way down there because it's what they have to offer.
That is really, really cool.
Cool stuff.
Hey, we need to mention before we get away from here, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, Knoxville, Iowa. SprintCarHof.com. That's www.SprintCarHof.com. Birthdays, Brad Knopfsinger, Monday. George Nessler, Darren Pittman's birthday was Monday. Tomorrow, Tim Kading. Billy Vukovich III. Sheldon Hodgeshield's birthday is tomorrow. Norman Martin on Thursday, Roger Rager, and Dean Jacobs on Saturday. But George Nessler was birthday would have been yesterday. He is a class of 2014. George was born in Piscataway, New Jersey. And I just like saying Piscataway, New Jersey. So he was born in Piscataway, New Jersey. He started fielding cars in the mid-30s in New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. Fielded cars for more than 50 years. URC, IMCA, USAC, Modifieds, midget cars, ARDC.
He did it all.
Yes, he did do it all. Most fame came with Earl Hallequist driving for him with URC, where they had 56 wins and 5 championships. When he retired from racing, he loved gardening and reading Westerns.
Interesting.
Isn't that cool?
That's an interesting man.
Was inducted to the EMPA Hall of Fame in 1999, inducted in the URC Hall of Fame in 2012, inducted into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame in 2014, tragically. Well, not tragically in that we talk about a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame. We lost him at, would have been 1993. So George Nessler, another one of the great stories contained at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, turn number 2 in Knoxville, SprintCarHof.com. We need to step away. More in just a moment.
I'm Danny Holcraver, and you're listening to Wing Nation on MotorRacingNetwork.com.
Aggressive Hydraulics, where we engineer the cylinders that move your business. We specialize in crafting hydraulic cylinders and components with superior precision and performance, making OEM products stronger and creating more opportunities for distributors and repair facilities. Crafting cylinders that operate on a global basis in a wide variety of industries and applications. Get aggressive with your cylinder challenges. Aggressive Hydraulics.
I'm Steve Letarte for STP. As a former crew chief, I know about winning and what it takes to keep your engine performing at its best. That's why I recommend STP Ultra 5-in-1 Fuel System Cleaner. STP Ultra 5-in-1 Fuel System Cleaner is STP's most advanced fuel additive. It's been formulated to help remove harmful deposits from intake valves and restore fuel injector performance. For more than 60 years, STP products have proven themselves mile after mile. Take it from me, if you want to go with a winner, go with STP. In for the long haul.
Come join us every weekend at America's Tailgate Party, NASCAR USA. Hi, I'm Rob Tanner, your host and master of the grill, as we get you ready for high-octane NASCAR racing with hot laps and hot tracks. We serve up to 2 hours of the best hits in country music and keep you up to date with racing news and features you won't find anywhere else. Sit down and have a seat. It's a regular weekend pit stop for country music at the speed of sound, NASCAR USA on the Motor Racing Network.
Hi, I'm Casey Kane. Now back to Wing Nation.
Thank you, Casey. Casey looking for a win in the NASCAR Tour, hoping to get it this week at Darlington with that throwback paint scheme, or maybe it's Richmond coming up on Friday and Saturday, September 9th and 10th. The Xfinity Series races in the Virginia 529 College Savings 250, and the Sprint Cup Series, the Federated Auto Parts 400, where Casey and everyone else is going to try to lock themselves into the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. You can get tickets, more information at RIR.com. That's www.RIR.com. It is time for our Jeff Gordon's Kick It Person of the Week, and we're going to be very selfish with this because it's our very own Motor Racing Network's Jeff Striegel. Okay,
Really?
now this has nothing to do with sprint car racing, but it has everything to do with kids and hospitals and bad things that happen to kids. Jeff fields race cars up at Berlin Speedway up in Michigan, okay? And Jeff's a great, great guy. He's one of our anchors. You hear him on all of our Motor Racing Network Cup Series broadcasts. And he has been involved and started and founded and putting together this RacingAwareness.com race team. And what Racing Awareness and RacingAwareness.com do and the race team do, they provide children and their families from the Helen DeVos Children's Hospital up in Michigan. They provide them an outlet, a diversion from the healthcare process by utilizing auto racing. So while they're going through all of this,
so they get to
they
go to
step
the track?
in. They might get to go to the track. They bring the cars over. They do different things to divert the attention and to just
Clear their mind.
clear
for
their
the
minds.
day.
Exactly. So Jeff has
Cool.
done that and done that very, very well. And we want to salute Jeff because he swept it on Saturday night, won both track championships for the super late models and the modifieds with his cars. So a salute to our own Jeff Striegel, our Jeff Gordon's Kick It Person of the Week, and just an absolutely great guy and a great project they have there. And seeing the picture of the kids with the cars is always something that's just very, very sweet and near and dear. So Jeff Striegel, our Jeff Gordon's Kick It Person of the Week. Now, we have got a busy weekend coming up.
It's a holiday.
I know, and man, sprint
It's
car
racing.
racers go racing on
That's
holidays.
right.
The AGCO Jackson Nationals, we've talked about this with Aaron Reutzel. That's this weekend. Friday night, Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour. Saturday, National Sprint League Prelim Night. And Sunday, it's all on the line. $25,000 for the National Sprint League. $10,000 for ASCS. It's going to be big. And Doug Johnson, general manager, is going to join us this weekend on Wing Nation Weekend, presented by Hefner Racing Products, to give us all the details. So Jackson Nationals, man, that's an old event that had seen some hard times, and it evolved, and the track had seen some hard times. Todd Quering is coming in, and he wants to entrench it as one of the big ones, and he is going in the right direction, and they're working on entrenching that as one of the big ones. Used to be in the Midwest, it was Knoxville Nationals, Jackson Nationals.
Right, and that
now
was
it's
it.
Knoxville Nationals, and he's hoping in a few years' time. We understand Knoxville's going to be Knoxville,
Sure.
but if he can get this thing on par with some of the other biggies, that's what he's looking
Well,
to
and
do.
what he's done already
Oh,
this year is
amazing.
unreal.
Absolutely amazing. World of Outlaw Craftsman Sprint Cars, they're out at Skagit Speedway. Man, I'll tell you what, that's one of those I can't wait to get to sometime. The Outlaw Energy Showdown, Friday and Saturday night. Then Monday, they have the traditional Labor Day show at Elma, Washington at Grays Harbor. So that is just going to be big, big fun. Arctic Cat All-Star Circuit of Champions, Saturday, Attica Raceway Park. The Dirt Classic Ohio, a golden ticket to the Dirt Classic on the line at Lincoln. And, $10,000.
Oh.
Yeah, $10,000. Yeah, going to old Rex Lejeune. They're getting right into Rex Lejeune's wallet up there. Sunday at Wayne County Speedway, the Pete Jacobs Memorial. This is Kendra's great-grandfather, and he's the one that carved out the racetrack.
That's right.
So really cool that $10,000 to win there. Bumper-to-bumper IRA Sprints, Plymouth County Fairgrounds in Sheboygan, another town I like to say. Sunday, it's the 141 Speedway in Francis Creek, Wisconsin. Weekly racing, well, if Rex Lejeune ain't going to the wallet enough on Saturday evening, he's giving up $5,000 to win on Friday night for the Fast Series. So you're an Attica racer.
Go.
You got $15,000 in
right.
a couple of nights. That's pretty stout right there. River City Speedway, Williams Grove on Friday night. Saturday, Atomic, Butler, Greenbush, the fabulous Lincoln Speedway, Fair Night at Port Royal, Wilmot. Sunday, Buffalo River Race Park in Glendon, Wisconsin. Williams Grove is back on Sunday night with the Billy Kimmel Memorial. That's going to be cool. And then Monday afternoon, Port Royal Speedway, the 65th annual Labor Day Sprint Car Fair Classic. You're in Pennsylvania. It's 4 nights. You might have to choose Lincoln or Port.
Yes.
I mean, on Saturday. But
Or
you got-
the fair.
Well, I know. It's the fair food. The fair food. Oh, but I'm telling you what. You don't want to talk food. Lincoln Speedway.
Yes.
Sensing's Barbecue. And my girl Jonda with Shorty's funnel cakes.
Yeah.
And deep fried Oreos.
Oh, yeah. And
Oh
some
my
vanilla
gosh.
ice cream.
If I was midway between the two, I don't even know what I would do because the food at both places are very, very good. Hey, it's the Race Saver IMCA 305 Sprint Nationals at Eagle Raceway in Eagle, Nebraska. Joining us this week on MRN Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. I can't even say his name without laughing. Doug Esch, the Hammer. We will find out why he's called the Hammer. Good people. Good people indeed. And I think this might be the very first Doug Esch interview where he didn't drop one of those 7 words that George Carlin said we can't use. Now, he used some other words. He used some other words that are very colorful, but they're not on the list. Exactly. They're not on the list.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, we had Aaron Reutzel drop one of those on us earlier today.
Exactly.
Yeah, how about
Yes.
that? Yes, exactly. That is on MAV TV Saturday, 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 in the afternoon. Ashley, thanks for spending some time.
Absolutely.
Slinging Dirt coming up here on Motor Racing Network. Ashley trading this one out for the husband, David Stremme. They'll do that coming up next.
You've been listening to the nation's premier winged sprint car radio program, Winged Nation. Tune in next Tuesday at noon for more talk from the dirt tracks. Winged Nation is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center or download from iTunes or Stitcher. Winged Nation is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.